Hello. Today I will be presenting on the economic topic of price floors and will be using the United States minimum wage to explain just how they work. A price floor is a minimum price for a good allowed by law. You cannot buy or sell things below a price floor because it is illegal to do so by the law. The creation of a price floor creates four effects: surpluses, deadweight loss, wasteful increases in quality, and a misallocation of resources. But I will only be focusing on the surpluses that a price floor creates in this presentation. In order to better show how a price floor works and where minimum wage fits in, I'll draw a graph. Here we have wages representing price on the y-axis and the quantity of labor representing quantity on the x-axis. We will now draw just a standard supply curve representing the supply for labor and a demand curve showing the demand for labor by a market. Now we'll draw a price floor represented by the standard $7.25 minimum wage. The equilibrium wage and equilibrium employment in a market without a price floor can be drawn as well for a reference point. This graph shows a price floor is always above the market price, and even though a standard market would try to move towards equilibrium by lowering wages, a price floor prevents this. The supply of labor is greater than demand for labor, thus causing a surplus of labor, otherwise known as unemployment. All price floors create a surplus, and the minimum wage is an excellent example of the surplus a price floor creates. Now that we've established that a price floor of minimum wage creates a surplus of labor and is always above the equilibrium of a market price, we can examine how the minimum wage affects low-skilled workers. If the minimum wage price floor is increased, the amount of employees a firm would be able to hire will be less than what they were able to employ under a lower wage. Employers will want to keep their costs at the same level they were before a raise in wages, so they will pay the same amount of money towards wages, but employ fewer people in order to do so. Raising a minimum wage decreases the amount of jobs available for low-skilled employees by raising the cost to hire these workers for firms. People supporting the raise in minimum wage will often also point out the discrepancy between the living wage and minimum wage, but the only problem with raising the minimum wage is that it will actually do the opposite of what people expect it to do, and will decrease employment among low-skilled workers. So, in conclusion, a price floor is a price set by law that is above the market price. They will often create a surplus, or otherwise known as unemployment in the case of minimum wage. And whenever they are instituted, people will argue for or against them, just like in the case of minimum wage. Thank you.